In the savage kingdom, a proud savanna queen is defending life itself for her lion cubs. There is no way back. Tell me where you are watching from before we step into the deadliest fights for survival. There is a power and of self no male will ever hold, the instinct of a mother. We call the pride's females queens, but that crown is measured in fights for survival. We call the pride's females queens. A lioness's crown does not come from bloodline. It comes from what she brings back. On the savanna, nearly every meal for the pride is earned by the females. The males hold the territory with a roar. The females keep the pride alive through their own hunger. Some hunts are an explosion of speed. Others come down to a single moment of absolute patience, but holding still for the 1 second the prey looks away, then closing it with a single bite. But that crown is still measured in fights for survival. Just to keep a single litter alive. An adult lioness weighs nearly 140 kilograms, lighter than a male, but quicker and far more enduring. And even that strength is not enough. Because for nearly its first 2 years of life, a lion cub depends entirely on its mother. Without her, it cannot yet hunt, cannot yet hide, and has almost no chance to survive. Lions are the only cats that live in a pride. That is both a strength and a weakness. A large enough pride can bring down prey many times the size of any single lion. Food is shared fairly evenly, and the young are given a chance to grow up. But a family that leans on the protection of one powerful father also means every litter of cubs grows up inside a web of power that is always about to change hands. When a pride expands its territory, the price is not paid only in the blood of prey, but in the blood of other hunters. To a lion, the young of a rival hunter are a threat to be erased at once. It clears the way for its own future princes, sparing them a brutal war over territory. The cheetah and the lion hunt the same land, but they have never been equals. The cheetah chooses speed and solitude. The lion chooses numbers and power. And when those two ways of living collide, the one who walks alone is always the one who must give way. By instinct, a cheetah would simply run. Speed is this whole species' weapon for survival, but speed can save only one life. And here, there is more than one life to protect. So the mother does the opposite of instinct. She turns herself into the target. Every second the pride fixes on her is another second for her cubs to melt into the grass. That gamble carries its own price. Only 2 of the young remain. And as night falls, the land that was once home now belongs to someone else. The death of a litter is not a rare accident. When strange males seize control of a pride, the first thing they do is not to hunt. It is to find and remove every cub under 2 years old. The reason lies in one merciless truth. As long as she still has young, a lioness will not be ready to bear cubs for the new king. By eliminating the previous litter, the new males cut short the wait for offspring of their own. For offspring of their own. Across Africa, for every 5 cubs born, only 1 lives past its 2nd year, and up to 1/4 of them die at the hands of their own kind. Even those that survive, their own kind, are still not safe. Hyenas move in clans, waiting for the moments when a mother must leave her cubs to hunt. In this world, a small life is rarely threatened by just one danger. When the dry season tightens its grip, the water shrinks to a few shallow pools, and the prey is forced to crowd around them. Where the prey gathers, the hunters gather thickly too. Territory grows crowded. Clashes between prides grow more frequent, and every litter of cubs grows up under a pressure that thickens by the day. For a mother, every move across open ground with her cubs is a gamble. No choice is ever entirely safe. The gap in power between male and female is stark. A male can weigh half again as much as a female, Fighting head-on rarely saves the cubs. It only puts the mother in danger first. So the defense of this species is rarely loud. Some females, pushed to the edge of the territory, choose to linger nearby, drawing the invader's attention away, buying time, instead of buying a fight. And all the while, in other corners of the savanna, the same rules play out. Rivers holding some of the densest crocodile populations on the continent. Other prides, other mothers, carrying the same single fear, keeping their young alive for one more season. What do you think is more dangerous for a lion cub? The fangs of a predator or the laws of its own kind? Leave your thoughts below. At those rivers, the young of every species learn the same lesson, that moving with the many is the only way. For a fragile individual to raise its odds of survival, the very principle the lion pride relies on to endure. And here, somewhere out there, two young males are still waiting. They are in no hurry. Time, this time, is on the side of the strong. Not every battle ends with a winner walking away. Lionesses defending their territory are every bit as fierce as the males. After a violent clash with a rival pride, one lioness mother has been searching for hours. Her two cubs were lost in the chaos. One of the two did not survive the wounds from the fight. The mother stays beside it for hours on end. She does not react, even when prey walks right past her. A genuine stress response documented in lionesses that have just lost a cub. On the savanna, the death of one is never truly the end. It is a signal calling the vultures, the hyenas, a whole chain of life to take its place. But for another, it is a silence that instinct has not yet learned how to cross. One cub is still out there. Because the other cub is still out there somewhere, alone, with no one to shield it. And night on the savanna never shows mercy to those who wander lost. If you had to choose, would you stay beside the child you lost, or race off after the one who caused the tragedy? Sometimes instinct does not grant another both. On this land, even feeding is a gamble. A kick from large prey, a jagged stump hidden in the grass. One mistake is all it takes, and the hunter can carry a fatal wound. Some prey even the queen of the savanna must respect. An adult Cape buffalo weighs nearly a ton. Its curved horns fuse into a shield of bone across the brow, and beneath that thick hide lies a mass of pure muscle. This animal has earned another name, the Black Death, because of all the creatures on the plain. The buffalo is one of the few that can fight back the predator. Every season, more than a few lions fall beneath those horns. So the whole pride must become one machine. But one well-timed toss of that head, one stamp of nearly a ton of weight, is enough to leave a hunter never to rise again. This is a gamble only the sharpest hunger makes them dare to take. Because the buffalo has a weapon, the lion does not, the herd. A single cry for help can turn 100 of them back. When that wall of horns comes charging, the strength of numbers can force an entire pride to drop its prey and give ground. Between lion and buffalo, there is no permanent victor, only a war repeated across every generation on the same stretch of land. For a lone female with no pride behind her, every wound could be the end. The land the two nomadic males must cross. To reach this pride spans 100,000 acres. A journey long enough to test any creature, yet still they come. For nomadic males, life itself is one long gamble. Most of them will fall without ever winning a pride of their own. The few that seize a throne hold it only for a few short seasons, before a younger pair arrives and turns the same old wheel again. And on the other side, the male who holds the throne is past his prime. Alone, with no allies left, he is about to face two who are younger and stronger. To the two invaders, this pride is still unfinished business. They will not stop until they have found every last one that must be removed. as the pride male is left alone to face the two invaders. One lioness does something without precedent. She quietly slips away with her own cubs. In this species, a female rarely cares for another's young. But when a whole generation is threatened at once, the line between her own cubs and another's can sometimes dissolve. The battle for the throne is hopeless. The pride male is dethroned, cast out to fend for himself in old age. Months later, when all 8 of the young are finally old enough to fend for themselves, the 2 invaders, now masters of the whole pride, track them down. And in the decisive moment, something familiar repeats itself. That mother, together with the one companion who once chose to leave with her, turns back to face the 2 stronger males head-on. Just as a cheetah mother did at the start of this land. They turn themselves into the target, trading a few precious seconds for a generation's survival. With one difference, this time 2 mothers stand their ground together, and the 8 young melt into the bush for good. What lets a lioness turn her back on the whole pride is not muscle. It is an instinct ready to trade everything for the young. Across the continent, for every 5 cubs, only 1 lives to its 2nd year. So 8 cubs surviving together is no ordinary thing. It happens only when someone dares to pay a price the roles never demanded. This land remembers no one's name. Life is passed on not by the strongest, but by the one willing to stand between danger and the next generation. But the savage kingdom always keeps one final paradox. To live, those young, and the very mother who risked herself for them, must in the end accept living under the rule of those who once posed a danger to them. Because that is how a lion pride endures across the generations. The throne of the savanna was never held by a male's claws. It is held by the instinct of a mother. What do you think waits for those 8 when they step into a land of their own? Leave your answer in the comments. And if this land made you pause, even for a moment, stay and watch a little longer with us. Imagine a place where the sky is painted in brilliant orange, and every breeze carries the whisper of 1,000 different cultures. Right here in the heart of Africa, the ancient rhythm of life keeps pulsing stronger than ever. A continent where nature is never just a backdrop, but the leading character, the soul, and the ultimate guardian. It is upon this sun-baked, relentless, yet deeply sacred land that communities have learned to survive and flourish in complete harmony with the untamed wilderness. Here, daylight is ruled by the sun, and nightfall is illuminated by stars dancing above the ancient campfire embers. On the savannas, children grow up alongside the distant roar of lions. Inside the villages, the vibrant beat of drums marks the steady passage of time. Life in Africa is demanding, yet breathtakingly beautiful. Where resources are scarce, creativity thrives. Where adversity lies, courage takes center stage. Where tradition endures, wisdom gathered over centuries resides. Its peoples are remarkably diverse, with countless languages and endless customs. Where every tribe holds a unique perspective on the world, on how they pray, dine, live, and weather the storm. Wild animals do not merely appear in nature documentaries. They live right beside the people. Herds of elephants journey past villages. Giraffes look like walking trees from a distance. And hyenas laugh in the darkness, reminding us that here the wild and humanity walk hand in hand. There are villages that rely on the land and water, staying in direct touch with nature's gifts. There are tribes preserving age-old traditions, like the Himba of Namibia. The Maasai of Kenya, or the Dogon of Mali. And each group possesses its own attire, music, and worldview that is second to none. In this video, you will immerse yourself in the lives of those who have chosen or were born to inhabit remote lands, where modern conveniences are few and far between. Yet, the connection to the earth is absolute. We will explore how they survive, what they eat, how they celebrate, and how they face the challenges brought by intense heat, dry seasons, or the ongoing presence of wild predators. Even so, they keep the flame of culture and community spirit alive and well. Take a deep breath, adjust the volume, and step into this journey through the most captivating landscapes of the African continent. You are about to discover that here, every rock, every branch, every person carries a vibrant story within. Long before borders or nations were drawn on a map, and long before anyone called this place Africa, the story of history was written. With fire, stone, sweat, and silence. This is the cradle of humanity. Right here, upon the warm lands of Eastern Africa, the first Homo sapiens stood tall on 2 feet. And it was right here that the world took its very first step. Every grain of sand in the desert, every stone in the Rift Valley, and every ancient carving deep inside the caves of the Western Sahara carries the echo of thousands of years of history. Peoples were born, kingdoms faded away, and empires had their moment in the sun, in places where today we see only tranquility and pristine landscapes. To the north, Egyptian pharaohs erected architectural marvels that stand the test of time. Further south, the kingdom of Kush stood firm against rival empires and built its own undeniable grandeur along the banks of the Nile River. In West Africa, wealthy and sophisticated cities flourished long before making contact with Europeans. In Ethiopia, kings were crowned more than 2,000 years ago, and Christianity arrived here long before spreading across Europe. Today, in every quiet corner of this continent, there lives a memory left out of the history books, yet beautifully preserved through dance, through the names of the mountains, and through the way people tend to the earth. The true history of Africa is not merely defined by historical conflicts or emperors. It rests in how communities survived, how they cherished their traditions, even under the heavy burden of hardship. It lives in the storyteller, wandering through the villages, keeping legendary tales alive against all odds. Tales passed down through pottery, from mother to child, in the rhythm of talking drums, in hand-dyed fabrics, and in the decorative symbols painted upon earthen walls. To understand Africa is to realize that its story does not begin with sorrow, but begins with creativity, strength, and the enduring pride of a continent that has never lost its soul. Up north, the Sahara reigns supreme, like an endless sea of golden sand, where the wind patiently carves out shifting dunes in peaceful silence. The scorching heat can feel overwhelming, yet at night, the desert unveils thousands of twinkling stars dancing across the sky. A treat for those brave enough to cross this land barefoot or atop a camel. Here, solitude serves as a long-time companion, and the silence holds soft memories of ancient trade routes and resilient communities who have weathered the storm of time. South of the Sahara, the scenery slowly shifts, as arid sands give way to richer, lush greenery. This is a land of sheer perseverance, where rainfall remains unpredictable and life gently oscillates between vibrant foliage and dry, thirsty stretches. Further down, the savannas burst open into sprawling plains, dotted with iconic acacia trees and teeming with wildlife. Giraffes, zebras, wildebeests, and lions all share this realm, living together in an ancient yet delicate balance. Africa is far more than intense heat and endless sand. Throughout its central and equatorial regions, vibrant rainforests take center stage. These are lush, moisture-rich woodlands where warm sunlight struggles to reach the forest floor. With every step comes a chorus of unfamiliar sounds, the distant call of a primate echoing through the canopy, the gentle flutter of wings, or water trickling softly over tangled roots. It is right here that nature keeps her oldest secrets under lock and key, hidden beneath layers of shady leaves and living history. Like a whole world within a continent, towering mountain ranges rise up with majestic splendor. The Drakensberg Range to the south resembles colossal fortress walls carved by divine hands. Meanwhile, out east, Mount Kilimanjaro, the highest point in all of Africa, soars as a solitary giant, crowned in glistening ice and wrapped in soft clouds. Gazing upon it feels like watching time stand still at the very roof of the African continent. Mighty rivers such as the Nile, the Congo, the Niger, and the Zambezi wind across the land like vital lifelines. They are the ultimate source of life and the heart of countless stories, where riverbanks served as the cradle of civilizations, the grand stage for sacred traditions, and pathways offering both refuge and hope. Here, every single detail, from traditional clothing to the simplest gesture, forms part of a rich cultural tapestry woven through the ages. Traditional garments serve as the very first sign of this vibrant identity. Radiant fabrics, patterned with bold geometric shapes, and textiles colored with natural pigments extracted from soil, plant leaves, and roots. The contrast is like night and day between the flowing kanga wraps of coastal dwellers and the adorned hide garments worn by the peoples of the Sahel region. Himba women in Namibia apply a blend of butterfat and red ochre to their skin, creating a warm copper hue that reflects their deep bond with the arid land. Meanwhile, the Maasai of Kenya and Tanzania drape themselves in bold red and deep blue shuka shawls, symbols of bravery and spiritual protection. Everyday household items also offer a deep expression of culture. The baskets woven by Ashanti women in Ghana hold both food and age-old crafting techniques. The wood-carving art of the Congo creates repeating motifs like an ancient language. Vibrant, colorful beads adorned on Maasai jewelry tell stories of birth, marriage, and belonging within the community, where each strand is a chapter of life. Music and dance stand as the heart and soul of this community. Carried by the beat of the djembe drum, rhythms echo all through the night. As everyone moves in a circle to celebrate harvests, the arrival of newborn children, or to honor ancestors, the drumming builds a bridge between generations. And even the youngest children learn how to listen to the heartbeats of their community. Regional cuisine opens another doorway into culture. In villages near the rivers, fish roasted in leaves is seasoned with local spices and served with corn porridge and yams. In drier areas, sorghum and millet grains are crafted into fermented breads. Nourishing families around the hearth. Ethiopian coffee, prepared through a formal ceremony, is far more than a simple drink. It is a ritual aimed at cementing bonds. And displaying warm hospitality. Language serves as both a maze and a bridge. Over 100 languages, and local dialects are spoken. Annual celebrations like the Mask Festival of the Dogon people in Mali are times of cultural gathering, where masks embody spirits of the forest and expressive dances strip away the physical world to lift the curtain on the unseen.
The jaguar had been motionless for 40 minutes. This is the most critical part of the hunt. Before anything happens. A blind spot that lasts only 3 seconds. The Amazon's ultimate predator commits. 3 seconds. A 4-meter caiman, no longer whole. Approximately 55 million years ago, the Andes began to rise. This was not merely a geological event. It created the Amazon. As the Andes climbed, they blocked Pacific winds, creating a vast, low-pressure system drawing moisture from the Atlantic. A self-sustaining moisture cycle, what scientists call the flying rivers. The result of 55 million years is 7 million square kilometers of borderless forest. A river stretching 6,400 kilometers. Carries 20% of all fresh water on Earth to the ocean each day. %10 of all species on Earth live here. Not because the Amazon is rich in the conventional sense. Diversity here does not come from soil, it comes from time. The Amazon has existed long enough and remained stable enough for life to test every possible solution. Of all that the Amazon has produced, the jaguar is its most perfect expression. Amazon jaguars are the largest of their kind. Adult males reach 79 to 96 kilograms, significantly larger than the 57 to 68 kilograms typical of Central America. This difference is not written in their genes. It is made by the environment. The Amazon offers heavier prey, larger capybara, bigger tapir, greater caiman. Evolutionary pressure from larger prey selects for jaguars with greater mass and stronger bite force. At the same time, the Amazon has more competitors. adding selection pressure from rivals as well. The Amazon does not produce small kings, because it has no room for the weak. Before every jaguar hunt, the Amazon changes, not with sound, with silence. Within a radius of 200 to 300 meters, birds reduce or cease their calls. Mammals stop unnecessary movement. The jaguar is invisible before any prey ever sees it. It releases scent traces from sebaceous glands between its toes as it moves. Species with sensitive olfaction. Lizards, small rodents, detect rising pheromone concentrations and respond by reducing activity. That response radiates outward like a sound wave through water. Larger prey, capybara, tapir, cannot detect the jaguar this way from a distance, and that is precisely why they become prey. This jaguar holds and maintains a territory of 25 to 150 square kilometers. The boundary of that territory is not a line, it is a network of markers. Claw marks on trees at 1.5 to 2 meters above the ground, urine sprayed against bark at specific angles, and scat placed at strategic points. Along regular travel corridors, these marks do not simply announce presence. They encode information, sex, age, reproductive condition, and when the mark was last refreshed. A male reads a female's marks to know when to approach. A female reads a male's marks to assess him before any meeting. Marks are renewed every 3 to 5 days. The frequency required to keep information current in humid tropical heat, where scent degrades faster than in temperate climates. On the sandbar mid-river, turtles have not come here to rest, they have come to lay eggs. This sandbar was selected against precise criteria: a slope sufficient to drain during light rain, sand grain size suited for digging and covering a nest, and most critically, a position receiving 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight each day. Nest temperature determines the sex of hatchlings in this species. Below 28 degrees Celsius produces males, above 32 degrees Celsius produces females. The choice of sandbar is not instinct alone. It reflects memory of sandbars that succeeded in previous seasons. And this is why this sandbar lies within jaguar territory. The range of this apex predator consistently covers the riverbanks, where prey density is highest. The capybara is the world's largest rodent and the single most important prey species in the jaguar's diet across the Amazon. Adults weigh 35 to 65 kilograms. They live in groups of 10 to 20, rarely venturing more than 500 meters from water. This behavior is not merely habit. Capybara are semi-aquatic. Their skin desiccates rapidly away from water, and they use rivers as their primary escape route. But that same dependence places them squarely within the jaguar's operating zone. A predator that spends 70% of its time along riverbanks. Capybara density in areas without jaguar reaches 50 to 100 individuals per square kilometer. with jaguar present 8 to 12. That difference reshapes the riverbank. Capybara at high density graze vegetation to the roots, eroding banks, sending sediment into the river. Rising sediment reduces light for aquatic plants, lowers dissolved oxygen, and shrinks fish breeding habitat. By hunting capybara consistently, the jaguar architects the shape of the riverbank. The wet season has not yet peaked. In a matter of weeks, floodwaters will rise 9 to 15 meters, sufficient to inundate 350,000 square kilometers of forest, erasing every sandbar, every territorial boundary, every incubating turtle nest. The dry season right now, the time when sandbars are exposed, when territories can still be read, is the most concentrated moment in the entire ecosystem. Everything requires the same diminishing resource, and everything knows it. This is why the Amazon is never still. It is always in the process of calculating something. The Amazon does not announce what it holds. It simply holds. Its rulers survive not through strength alone, but because they can read and understand this system more deeply than any other creature. But the Amazon grants no ruler a throne without challenge. Black caiman is no ordinary crocodilian. Measuring 4 to 5 meters in length, weighing 400 to 500 kilograms, it is the largest crocodilian in South America and one of the Amazon's foremost apex predators. But what sets it apart is not size. It is armor. Osteoderms, plates of bone embedded within the skin, extend across the back, flanks, and the upper surface of the skull. These plates, 3 to 4 millimeters thick and fused to the dermal structure, form armor that is flexible yet exceptionally resistant. No other large cat can penetrate them with a conventional bite. Only the jaguar. The Amazon's predator does not approach in the conventional way. The jaguar's zygomatic arch is the widest of all species in the Pantherinae relative to head size. The temporalis muscle attached to this arch covers the greatest surface area of any large cat. The result: 887 newtons of bite force at the canine and 1,300 newtons at the molar position. The jaguar had watched this caiman from the sandbar's edge for over an hour. Before the jaguar reached the caiman, something else had already happened. The arapaima, a fish exceeding 100 kilograms and 2 meters in length, had retreated to deeper water. The arapaima was not threatened by this encounter. Its retreat was a response to environmental signals. Rising cortisol concentrations in the water released by the activated jaguar nearby. And retreat was the most rational response. The arapaima's movement became a signal to the surrounding ecosystem, other species reading its retreat as an indicator. Piranha arrived within minutes of blood reaching the water, not because they are aggressive, because they can detect blood at 1 part per million, equivalent to a single drop in an Olympic swimming pool. Chemical detection combined with the lateral line allows piranha to locate the source even in turbid water. In their normal diet, red-bellied piranha consume 70% plant material, seeds, fruits, submerged vegetation. But when blood is detected, the mode switches entirely. This is a rare, high-energy opportunity the piranha's nervous system is programmed to exploit completely. Piranha are the Amazon's essential cleaners by consuming carcasses and organic tissue before decomposition. They prevent disease and maintain water quality. Not every encounter between jaguar and black caiman ends with a successful skull bite. Black caiman can respond with a death roll if the jaguar attacks at the wrong angle or the caiman reacts in time. This caiman carries the marks of earlier encounters. Its lineage has persisted through 200 million years, not by never losing, but by knowing when to withdraw. This time it survived, and it is already revising its assessment. The Amazon flood does not begin in the Amazon. It begins in the Andes, when snowmelt from peaks above 6,000 meters combines with equatorial rainfall thousands of kilometers to the east, sending an immense wall of water down the basin for 6 months. Every species in the Amazon has calibrated its biology around these extraordinary water levels. When levels deviate significantly, the timing of the entire ecosystem is pushed off course. Black caiman is an ectotherm. Its body temperature determined entirely by the environment. This makes flooding both a challenge and an opportunity. When water inundates the forest, water temperature shifts with depth and canopy shade. Black caiman adjusts its flood season territory along thermal gradients, seeking shallow water near tree lines where temperature holds near 28 degrees Celsius, optimal for digestion and active hunting. At temperatures below 20 degrees Celsius, caiman reflex speed drops by 40%, explaining why jaguars tend to approach caiman in the early morning, when water temperatures remain low. The survival contest is not only a matter of size and strength, it is a matter of temperature and timing. In the wet season, black caiman does not resist the flood. It moves with it, deep into the flooded forest, where fish density surges as species migrate inward to spawn. The flooded forest provides richer feeding than the main river throughout these 6 months. But the wet season is also breeding season. Black caiman nests are built on raised earthen banks, a mound of decomposing leaves, branches, and plant material, rising 1 to 1.5 meters. The female remains near the nest for 3 months. not only to guard it, but to manage its temperature, opening it when too warm, adding material when too cool. This is active thermal management, rare among reptiles. When hatchlings break through, they emit a soft call. The mother misses none of them. But sandbars and raised banks disappear day by day as flood levels rise. Hatchlings must reach shallow water within hours of emerging. Those that fail will lose heat or be detected by piranha. First-year survival is below 10%. As water floods deep into the forest, the boto appears. The boto, Amazon river dolphin, has unfused cervical vertebrae, allowing it to rotate its head 90 degrees to either side. No other cetacean on Earth shares this anatomical feature. In the flooded forest, where tree trunks create a three-dimensional maze, the ability to rotate its neck allows the boto to pursue prey through corners that ocean dolphins could never navigate. Yet vision is entirely useless here. Amazon water is stained by tannins from decomposing leaves, opaque as strong tea. Black caiman and boto share the same flooded waters, the same prey, the same space, the same season. But they do not attack each other, not because they cannot. A caiman can kill a boto in open water, but the flooded forest changes the balance entirely. In the labyrinth of trunks and roots, the boto is far quicker and more agile. The caiman avoids deep forest water because it loses its advantage there. Each species has simply learned the boundary at which advantage transfers from itself to the other, and it avoids crossing that line. 200 million years. This lineage existed before the Amazon had a name. Before this river flowed in its current direction, before the Andes existed. The giant anaconda is the heaviest snake in the world. The largest, measured by professional research teams, reaches 8.8 meters, exceeding 100 kilograms. Claims of 12-meter anacondas typically come from unverified sources. Anacondas can stretch considerably when muscle tone is absent after death. In the dry season, giant anaconda moves to shallower, warmer water. Its ideal digestive temperature is 28 to 32 degrees Celsius. This matches the temperature of shallow, dry season river sections. The anaconda's detection does not rely on vision. It senses heat through thermoreceptor cells along the lip region and detects vibration through thousands of mechanoreceptors beneath the skin. From a semi-submerged position in mud, the anaconda builds a thermal map of everything within meters. Jaguar and anaconda use the same riverbanks on alternating shifts. The jaguar primarily from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., the anaconda primarily from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. One territory, two species, two non-overlapping shifts. This is timeshare ecology, dividing resources by time rather than space. The dry season breaks that system. When dry ground shrinks to a fraction of the total range, there is no longer enough space for two separate shifts. overlap becomes inevitable. And this is why three-way encounters occur. Both were converging on the same capybara standing in the shallows. The jaguar stalked from the high bank, reading the wind direction, waiting for the capybara to step clear of the water. The anaconda read the capybara's body heat through the water from its lip receptors. Two different tactics, one target, the same moment. The capybara lifted its head. Nothing visible. The jaguar behind a trunk. The anaconda beneath the mud. But it smelled them. The chemical signatures of both predators had combined. Stress hormone concentrations in the water rising sharply. The capybara returned to the group. Two hunts failed simultaneously. Intraspecific competition theory predicts when two predators exploit the same resource, the one capable of inflicting greater cost on the other will dominate, but this is not a pair. This is a triangle. In a triangle, each apex fears another in a different way. The jaguar can kill anaconda and caiman. The anaconda can kill a jaguar if it seizes one from behind in water. The caiman can kill an anaconda if it clamps across its body. No single apex holds absolute advantage over both others simultaneously. This is why none of them strikes first. The cost of serious conflict, injury in an environment where injury leads to infection, weakened hunting capacity, and death, exceeds the benefit of displacing a rival from one patch of dry ground. Non-aggression is not the result of submission. It is the result of risk-benefit calculation. The longest survivors in the Amazon are not those that fight most. They are those that know when not to fight. From the canopy above, the harpy eagle adds a fourth dimension with a wingspan of 2.2 meters and talons 13 centimeters long, generating 530 newtons of grip force. It is the absolute predator of the forest canopy. But its presence does not only affect the canopy, it alters behavior on the ground. The landscape of fear concept describes how prey alter habitat selection based on predator distribution. Capybara in open ground know the harpy eagle patrols above. Capybara near the forest edge know the jaguar patrols below. Nowhere is absolutely safe. But each position carries a different risk profile, and the decision of where to stand is never random. In the dry season, all those landscapes of fear compress together. Less space means all risk gradients overlap. Only those with better judgment than their rivals, and those who pay the price for poor judgment. The dry season will continue, and the encounters that follow may not end as quietly as the statistics suggest. The Amazon is a place those who have lived in it for 10,000 years have not explored. They call it home. Those arriving from outside call it a mystery. It is simply a set of rules, and ignorance of the rules is not an exemption from them. The deadliest things in the Amazon are not the jaguar or the black caiman. Freshwater stingray causes more than 15,000 injuries each year in Amazonian communities, more than piranha and black caiman combined. The stingray does not attack actively. This is not passive camouflage as typically understood. This is active substrate matching. The stingray's scales reflect light at the same angle as the sand, creating not an object on a background, but an object that is the background. When stepped upon, the defensive reflex activates instantly. The tail strikes upward, the venomous spine penetrating the skin. The venom contains 5 nucleotides and phosphodiesterase, causing localized tissue necrosis in 60% of untreated cases. "64,000 jaguars remain on Earth. The jaguar you have been watching is one of them." This is not an abstract number. It is the total count across all 18 countries where jaguars still exist. Each year, more than 200 are killed by people, conflicts over livestock. And this is the problem of habitat fragmentation. When forest is divided by roads and farms, jaguars are forced across agricultural land to maintain territorial connectivity. In those zones, the risk of conflict with people rises disproportionately. A jaguar requires a minimum of 25 square kilometers to survive. Many remaining forest fragments are below 20 square kilometers. Not only insufficient in area, but insufficient to sustain a genetically viable population. An isolated jaguar population in a small forest fragment with no gene flow to other populations will begin losing genetic diversity within 3 to 5 generations. Inbreeding depression reduces immune function, reproductive capacity, and offspring survival rates. A population does not need to be directly hunted to extinction. It needs only to be isolated long enough. The trophic cascade triggered by jaguar loss is not a sudden event. It is a slow, irreversible process beyond a certain threshold. When the jaguar disappears, capybara populations lose regulation. Density rising from 8 to 12, up to 50 to 100 individuals per square kilometer. At that density, capybara strip riverbank vegetation to the roots. Banks lose root systems that hold against erosion every flood season. Sediment pours into the river, subaquatic light diminishes, aquatic vegetation declines, dissolved oxygen falls. Fish lose their breeding habitat. Fish stocks, the primary protein source for 30 million people along the Amazon, collapse. This is not a theoretical model. In the Cerrado of Brazil, following jaguar disappearance, capybara density tripled within 5 years. From the loss of one species to the transformation of a river, this is not metaphor, it is mechanics. In 2018, 8 Amazonian nations signed the Jaguar Action Plan. The goal, maintaining 645,000 square kilometers of connected forest corridor by 2030, sufficient to sustain 2,000 jaguars with gene flow between populations. By 2022, 50% of the target was being implemented in 4 recovery zones, Colombia, Belize, and 2 regions of Brazil. Jaguar populations have stabilized or increased. 34 jaguar-friendly certified farms in Mato Grosso reported 0 jaguar killings over 3 years. Livestock attacks reduced by 83% through herd protection measures, and certification enabling EU market access at 12 to 15% higher prices. This is the most significant evidence yet that conservation is not in opposition to economics when designed correctly. 34 farms is a beginning. Thousands are needed. The jaguar does not know it appears on the IUCN Red List. It knows only the river. The river knows only the forest, and the forest today is still here. But the Amazon does not announce what it holds. Its predators continue. Indifferent, unchanged, unmoved. The question is not whether the Amazon will continue. The question is whether we deserve to see it. In the Amazon, thanks to the flawless patterns on its skin, the boa constrictor becomes one with the bark and forest floor. A howler monkey has encountered a difficult situation. He can sense every heartbeat of the other through his very own skin, adjusting the pressure with remarkable precision. The intense pressure leads to a pause in blood circulation. The howler monkey loses consciousness and slips away within mere minutes. Here, amidst the lush green canopy, the final transition arrives as a state of absolute silence. Compared to the wise and powerful baboon, the vervet monkey faces a far more demanding reality. In the realm of hunters, modest size is never an advantage. It only makes the list of those seeking you out for dinner longer and more unforgiving. For the vervet monkey, the list of adversaries stretches from agile felines to sky phantoms like the crowned eagle, to the formidable baboons themselves. In an environment where the end of the road can come from any direction, this primate has been forced to develop a defense system. The vervet monkey possesses a clear and sophisticated system of signals. This tactical information must be precise. A specific cry for the leopard, a hiss for the snake, and an alarm for the eagle. Young vervet monkeys must undergo a learning process to master this system. If a rookie mispronounces a call or gives a false alarm, the adults will coldly ignore them. Learn to speak the language of survival correctly. Here, knowledge is the line between a peaceful day and a somber finale. Amidst the maze of dense canopy layers in the Amazon, an ancient phantom silently reigns. The one that makes every primate tremble at the mere sound of its wings. The harpy eagle possesses talons that span up to 18 centimeters. With 14 primate species living here, it is the instrument of the final shadow. At a height of 30 meters, monkey, capuchin, marmoset, tamarin are all on high alert. For the harpy, the fate of the prize is sealed. By sight alone, relentlessness always goes hand in hand with absolute efficiency. When an unfortunate subject is brought back to the nest, it disappears completely under the intense appetite of the seeker. The harpy eagle consumes it all, Across the ocean, from the dense jungles of the Amazon, we find our way to the misty peaks of the Philippines. The Philippine eagle, the largest eagle in the world and one of the rarest aerial seekers on the planet. Estimates suggest that breeding pairs are few and far between, with only about 392 remaining in the wild. Its primary focus is the flying lemur, the closest living relative of primates. Despite resembling flying squirrels, these mammals have much more developed membranes. When spread, they look like a massive square kite. This kite can glide for over 100 meters. For an eagle in a critically fragile state, a 1-kilogram flying lemur is a strategic energy source to nourish chicks. Here, amidst the dense canopies of the Philippines, the seeker and the sought, every link is equally vital. The baboon, world's deadliest survivors. An embodiment of resilience against the reach of the ultimate predators. These creatures possess highly intricate social structures where wit often holds more sway than raw muscle. Typically, a solitary seeker will look before they leap before deciding to engage. As the 5 centimeters long canines of a male baboon are plenty to leave lasting reminders. Machiavellian intelligence. An intellect refined for strategic maneuvering and establishing authority within intricate societies. Within a baboon troop influence is a political savvy. They truly know the ropes of their social hierarchy and doing whatever it takes to solidify their status. A large chacma baboon, weighing about 40 kilograms, a massive mismatch. But as the baboon stands on 2 legs, the young lioness must call for backup. To the more seasoned lionesses, the baboon is just a pretender. It slips into the brush, biding its time for payback. But it cannot simply march toward the resting lion pride, nor does it have the strength to take the juvenile lions. It retreats to the rocky den, home to its troop. Suddenly, a familiar sound emerges. She is all alone, exhausted following the birth. The king's little ones weigh only about 2 kilograms, tiny and fragile. Baboons are omnivores. They are exceptionally skilled at spotting the vulnerable. Another female warrior arrives. The group moves on, except for him. But the baboon must stay out of sight. The cub's faint cries will not reach its mother's ears. Soon, without warmth and mother's milk, It will no longer be able to make a sound. At Ruaha National Park, there is an exception that defies every law of nature. Welcome to the Glade, a peaceful bend along the Goosey River. The Glade Pride, a robust family. The baboons are present too, lingering in close proximity. Here, the Glade Pride follows a genetic code. They never pursue the baboon troop. This truce carries strict conditions for both parties. As a favorite spot for grazers, the Glade should naturally be a theater of high stakes. Yet the sight of the relaxed baboons provides a strange sense of security. Kudu are the most cautious of all. They are incredibly difficult to reach. At the slightest snap of a twig, the kudu will vanish. The baboons are keeping their end of the bargain, acting as the unlikely informants. The kudu has chosen this as a resting spot. In the wild, there is no mercy. The hyena's call carries 5 kilometers. Every lion within range knows exactly what it means. In this savage kingdom, there is only one absolute rule. Rule or die. This is the Masai Mara. Dry season, rainfall far below average. The worst drought recorded across all of East Africa. In this savage kingdom, one empire rules by discipline, by hierarchy, by an organizational power, refined across 1,000 hunting seasons. They are the River Pride. One empire rules by intelligence, by sheer numbers. They are the Mara clan, the largest empire of their kind ever documented. 2 empires divided the Mara in silence. One claiming the daylight, one claiming the dark. The rule held, absolute, unspoken. But when water retreats, survival rewrites every rule. Who rules the Mara when the laws collapse? The answer lies in the last remaining waterhole. Masai Mara. People often speak of it as a sanctuary, but the true ecosystem stretches across nearly 10,000 square kilometers. And if you erase the borders drawn by humanity, the Mara connects seamlessly with the Tanzanian Serengeti, forming the grandest migratory path on Earth. This is a civilization with a history longer than any empire humanity has ever built. It possesses its own rules and flows with its own unique rhythms. And like every civilization, it is built upon water. The Mara River originates from the Mau Forest on the Kenyan highlands, hundreds of kilometers to the north. From there, the currents flow southward, weaving through the heart of the ecosystem before emptying into Lake Victoria. A prolonged dry season begins with a single felled tree in the Mau Forest. When the wildebeest turned south, they followed the rain. And those that remained faced the bare reality of the Mara 3 months after the last rain fell. But the Mara is not a stage built for two. It is a matrix of power, and within it, other forces move. Each has found its own answer to the same question: survival philosophies, each one a commentary on what is about to unfold. Buffalo, 750 kilograms, horns thick as iron, herds of 200 to 800 within the Mara ecosystem. They are not simply prey. Buffalo do not operate as prey. The pride's ruthless laws leave the old king as the weakest of all. The prey now takes the offensive. The rate of enduring a toll is 30 to 50%. This is why no solitary lion engages a buffalo. And when the pride does, it is always a coordinated formation, planned over hours. And there is one more thing about buffalo: a collective decision mechanism. Whichever direction receives the most votes. That is where the herd moves. The strength flows from the consensus of all. And when the herd unanimously turns back, no lion, however desperate with hunger, wants to be standing in its path. Leopard. Total contrast. No pride, no alliance, no social hierarchy to lean on. One cat, one territory. One of the finest survivors on Earth. The leopard of the Mara survives by one principle alone: invisibility. After a kill, it does not feed at the sight. A kill in the branches can last 3 to 5 days, enough for the leopard to feed across multiple sessions. Never leave anything on the ground when all of the Mara is hungry. A kill on the ground in dry season lasts 20 minutes at most. So the leopard climbs alone, while the two empires below tear at each other over the last meters of territory. Beyond it, another force is also watching. Fiercely unified, relentlessly persistent. The qualities of successful hunters. Wild dog hunting success rates reach 80% globally. But here in the Mara specifically, the figure drops to around 51%. Not because the dogs lack skill, but because the Mara is too contested. In this environment, every kill is a target for theft. Even so, 51% remains formidable. Wild dogs operate as a distributed brain. No single individual dominates all decisions, but when unified, they become a single unit of speed and endurance. Within the Mara ecosystem, only 3 to 5 packs remain active. Every pack crossing this land is one of the last. 3 survival philosophies in an ecosystem contracting around them. The power of the collective, the intelligence of the solitary, the precision of the cooperative. None is perfect. Each has its limits and its price in the dry season. Everything begins with a laugh, not an expression of joy. The hyena's laugh, long branded the sound of cowardice, of the scavenger, is the exact opposite of everything that reputation suggests. It is a command, the mechanism that keeps an empire operating. As a single combat unit in the dark, across vast territory. If there is one number that answers every question about the hyena, it is 80%. 80% of the Mara clan's food comes from prey they hunt themselves, from tactical coordinated hunts. Executed primarily at night, through the most sophisticated organizational apparatus of any African predator. Research confirms that lions steal hyena kills 6.8 times more often than the reverse. Roughly 14% of every hyena meal is taken by lions. But to understand the Mara clan, you must first understand its architecture. Every adult female in the clan outranks every adult male. No exceptions. The largest male, the heaviest, the strongest in the Mara clan yields ground to the smallest female. Female hyena fetuses are bathed in androgens, hormones typically associated with male development at abnormally high levels. The result, adult females outweigh males by 10 to 12%. A daughter inherits her mother's rank within 6 months of reaching adulthood, a nobility, but not an empty one. They command priority feeding rights, mating rights, and command authority within combat formations. Heirs do not wait long to assert dominance. They begin from the first moments of life. The battle starts in the den. Within hours of birth, they must establish a hierarchy that will define them for life. Sometimes, only one survives. The hyena's bite force is the strongest of any African predator. But the number alone does not tell the story. What matters is the purpose. The hyena's jaws are not built for the kill. They are built for total consumption. Everything every other predator leaves behind. A clan of 60 can consume a 500-kilogram buffalo entirely. Skeleton included, no trace. The hyena is not merely a predator, it is the Mara's recycling system. Speed is the signature weapon of predators. But look at the one who sacrificed everything for speed. And you realize endurance is the true key. 4.8 kilometers. The distance a hyena sustains top speed without slowing. A full-grown lion can sprint only 300 meters. The hyena does not need to be faster, it only needs to outlast. The hyena's call carries information and command. But beyond that, these sounds can encode 4 pieces of information simultaneously within a single vocalization. Identity, social rank, number of individuals present. Degree of emotional arousal. In dry season, whoop frequency increases by more than 40%. The Mara clan does not go quiet when starving. The Mara clan controls the night, but what happens when they are still hungry by day? Along the Mara River. The River Pride has held this territory for 11 seasons. 12 to 18 individuals. Not a large pride, but in this terrain it is enough. The River Pride operates as a military machine. The males do not hunt, but they are not a burden. The roar declares ownership, deters rival males from crossing the boundary, and secures the pride's breeding rights and food supply. A coalition of 2 to 3 males typically controls territory up to 2,000 square kilometers, but the River Pride males care nothing for scale. They care only for this one irreplaceable ground. The females do everything else. Faster and more agile, responsible for 90% of all hunts. Hunting alone, success rates fall below 19%. Hunting as a unit, that figure rises to 30%, and the caliber of prey changes entirely. This is what distinguishes the river pride from every other lion pride. They do not merely hunt, they remember. No lion in the pride is born knowing this. Young females observe and fail for 2 years before executing the technique correctly. They learn by correcting failure over years in the presence of the most experienced females. And here lies the river pride's greatest vulnerability, the fragility of the irreplaceable. What the river pride's eldest female carries is experience. Which buffalo individuals regularly visit, which waterhole, which can be isolated, which become lethal when cornered. Her eyes move with the precision of one who has watched everything on this land and knows exactly what is worth watching. She has survived the 5th dry season, but she is not immortal. Just like the old male that once ruled this pride. He used to protect the entire pride all by himself. Yet he could not protect himself. As a result, the throne changed hands. The females cannot change this. They can only comply. She, the wisest matriarch of the river pride, will also have to move on eventually. The solitude at the end of her journey, just like her former mate, is inevitable. Average lifespan of a lioness in the Mara, 14 to 16 years in the wild. The eldest females, those who carry 11 seasons of knowledge, are at the outer edge of that range. The younger females would have to rebuild their territorial knowledge from nothing. Through trial, through hungry nights. The lion's collective intelligence does not live in the pride. It lives in a single individual. And that concentration is simultaneously its greatest strength and the system's deepest vulnerability. The river pride's throne is the waterhole along the Mara River. As the water retreats, the throne retreats. And right now, the throne has contracted to the point where there is nothing left to surrender. 2 empires, 2 forms of intelligence. The Mara is not a perpetual battlefield. Most of the time, it is a system of exquisite equilibrium. At the center of that equilibrium is an agreement, strictly observed. It is time. Lions operate from dawn to dusk. Hyenas command from dusk to dawn. There is an overlap window when both empires share the same space and neither holds absolute advantage. "78% of all direct confrontations between lions and hyenas in the Mara occur around dawn and dusk. An entire war compressed into the most precarious moments of light. Beyond time, there is an acoustic boundary. Both species use sound not only for internal coordination, but to map territory for the enemy. But this equilibrium is not equal. It never was. Yet the truce holds. Why? Because of absolute numbers. Below 4-1, lions hold their ground. When the hyena to lion ratio at any confrontation point reaches 4-1 or higher, lions consistently withdraw. Except when a male is involved. At a waterhole on the River Pride's territorial edge, two groups approach from opposite directions. This is the crepuscular borderline. Lions lack the full power of daylight. Hyenas lack the full cover of dark. They must choose the peace. Three months ago, the last rain fell. The waterholes dwindled to 3. The Mara clan has not eaten in 5 days. When hunger drives them, any peace is only skin deep. For a clan of 60 to 80 individuals, 5 days of hunger is an energy crisis, counting down. Lions can fast 7 to 14 days on their larger body fat reserves. Hyenas, smaller bodies, higher metabolic rate. After 5 days, enter desperation mode. The activity patterns shift from strictly nocturnal to opportunistically diurnal. The wildebeest had turned south. The zebra followed. What remained? Old buffaloes, scattered Thompson's gazelles, impalas, and increasingly empty plains. But a young antelope only creates more friction within the pack. Every member lost a warrior to the scuffle. Nothing remains but defeat. And the crisis spreads. The Mara clan gradually fractures. The queen does not force them to stay amid scarcity. During the dispersal, some remains catch their attention. It is guarded by the old male lion, formerly of the River Pride. No second thoughts are needed. The hyenas must claim the rest. The old king is overwhelmed. No miracle can turn the tide. This minor victory helps the hyenas regain some confidence. By midday, 62 members of the Mara clan cross the boundary. The leopard registered something had shifted in the larger picture. Solitary intelligence knows when not to be present. The small wild dog pack has been monitoring the area since yesterday. They calculated the odds and concluded there is no reward here worth. The River Pride did not retreat. The first rule of every Dominion male. A pride that retreats once declares to all of the Mara that it will retreat forever. Two tactics, two civilizations of war converging on a single point. Before it unfolds, understand precisely what is about to happen. Members fan outward from a starting point into an arc. Not all advance simultaneously. Some hold the flanks, some push the center, creating a shape that achieves both broad coverage and rapid convergence on demand. The Mara clan is maintaining a tactical acoustic map. Each individual always knows the relative position of the rest, allowing them to stay in the loop and adjust accordingly. This is a decentralized command structure, and the only weakness is disrupting the acoustic network. This is equivalent to breaking formation. Not through physical force, but by creating interference in the signal chain. The River Pride knows this. For the lions, their tactics showcase experience. 3 to 4 females moving in single file, approaching from downwind. So scent does not reach the target before footfall does. Standard formation. But there is a wild card that neither side can completely control. A buffalo herd, 200 strong, oblivious to the dispute, only concerned with water. The dry season has blanketed the entire Masai Mara. The heartland is depleted of sustenance. Newcomers have arrived. Their declarations signal strength and a hunger for territory. The kings of the River Pride are highly sensitive when their realm is threatened. They will go to lay down the law. The parting is not easy, but there is no other choice. This is the moment for a king to show his responsibility. The females can hunt, they can repel intruders, but they cannot stop a robust coalition of prime young males. The old lioness now becomes the backbone. She has an uneasy premonition. Because just like the dominant males, the sun is setting on them. The buffalo herd finished their watering cycle and departed at dusk. They left behind an empty arena and an eerily quiet atmosphere. Now, darkness takes over, and this is the domain of the Mara clan. Hyena eyes harvest light more efficiently in the dark. Their nervous system is tailored for navigation, under conditions where lion vision begins to lose its edge. The night is a battleground where the most intense conflicts unfold. At the final waterhole, the balance of power has completely shifted from its usual orbit. At the center of the open mud hole, the River Pride is left with only 4 females and their cubs. The young ones lack the speed to run, and the strength to fight. The Mara clan, sensing their opponents' vulnerability. The 4 lionesses cannot establish their conventional defensive formation. But if they stand still, the cubs will be lost within minutes. They are forced to make an ultimate choice. A solitary burst of speed, piercing straight into the heart of the hyenas, where the network of whoops is densest. She willingly becomes the bait to buy time. And in that chaos, the remaining 3 lionesses immediately lead the cubs in a swift retreat, hiding deep in the thick brush far from the waterhole. The winds will sweep away the scent of the young ones, keeping them out of the enemy's radar. At the center of the waterhole, the trap has sprung. The matriarch is completely surrounded by dozens of hyenas. The lioness's stamina is drained. By midnight, the final roar of the queen falls silent. The Mara clan completely claims the waterhole. No truce occurs as it usually does. Tonight, an empire has won the day through numbers and ruthlessness. The standoff at the final waterhole ends. A kingdom has lost its brain and memory in exchange for the survival of the next generation. The price of water in a drought is not measured in drops. It is paid with the life of a ruler. For a whole week, triumphant whoops rang out, breaking the silence of the night. But power in the Mara is never a constant. It shifts with the footsteps of the prey. After a week, the atmosphere begins to change. The moisture in the wind increases. The Mara clan, with their keen sense of smell, detects the return of the small antelope herds. The neighboring land is gradually reviving after days of exhaustion. The pressure of survival forces the Mara clan to make a decision. They cannot cling forever to a mud hole with no meat. The crescent formation dissolves, and individuals scatter across the grassland to embark on a new hunt. And that is also when the kings return. The 2 male lions of the River Pride return from a long border patrol. Their dominant blood boils. The Mara clan is pushed back from the land they barely had time to possess. The River Pride reclaims their territory. Though missing a crucial piece, but now they will become stronger than ever. We often want a story to have a winner and a loser, but the Mara refuses to answer in such a simple way. Because the real question is not who won the battle at the final waterhole. The real question is, who is still here when the rain falls? And the answer is both. They survived the same question from 2 opposite sides. That is the Mara. And now, with everything you have just witnessed, the passing of the matriarch, the return of the males, and the harsh law of survival under the first rain of the season, Who do you think truly rules the Mara? The Mara clan or the River Pride? Leave your answer in the comments. We read every single one. This is the Nile crocodile. When the first dinosaurs emerged on Earth, the Nile crocodile was already present. When massive shifts moved 3/4 of the planet's life toward a close, the croc remained. Its current form is nearly identical to its ancestors from 200 million years ago. This was no stroke of luck. From the very beginning, it has been the ultimate predator. This is its domain, and it is waiting. Deep within the river's shadows, its heart continues to beat. Normally, 40 beats per minute. In its quiet state, 2. So slow that the pulse is barely present. No bubbles, no movement, no signs of activity. And when the moment arrives, in the water, the Nile crocodile is in a league of its own, but the Great Migration is drawing near. With tusks more imposing than a lion's, the hippo uses its weaponry for power struggles, rather than hunting. An assertive landlord weighing up to 1.5 tons, this giant lays down the law when it comes to its personal space. Despite appearing as a dormant boulder, this semi-aquatic giant is involved in roughly 500 fateful encounters each year. This figure makes them one of Africa's most formidable residents. When feeling provoked, the hippopotamus shows a pair of self-sharpening tusks. With a tremendous bite force ranging from 8,000 to over 9,000 newtons, they possess the strength to crush a skull as easily as a watermelon. In their world, there is no room for compromise. The most fascinating thing about this giant lies in how it moves beneath the surface. The truth is, the hippopotamus doesn't actually swim. Their dense bone structure and immense weight cause them to sink instantly, yet they have mastered a graceful walk along the riverbed. Utilizing the water's buoyancy, they take long strides like astronauts walking on the moon. However, behind that curious behavior lies a harsh and somber social structure. To maintain absolute dominance and ensure their lineage continues, dominant males often end the journey of a rival's offspring. This action forces females to return to their reproductive cycle quickly. It is a stern but effective evolutionary strategy to hold onto power. Along the Olifants River, the life of the hippopotamus is a symphony of contradictions between a calm facade and a primal intensity. The connection between the hippopotamus and the Nile crocodile is one of the most remarkable arrangements in nature's design. In terms of sheer might, the hippopotamus calls the shots in any direct engagement. Yet within that calm exterior lies unmatched strength, a bite force of 22,000 newtons. One of the most formidable tools ever crafted by nature, capable of breaking down the frame of any catch. The impressive nature of the Nile crocodile lies in how it can bide its time. By slowing its metabolism and holding its breath for 2 hours, it becomes one with the river, a phantom to those busy quenching their thirst. In the world of the Nile crocodile, the line between existence and the great beyond is as thin as a ripple on the water. A pride of lions. And the crocodiles. Two forces, two directions of engagement, a herd with nowhere to turn. As the antelope hit the water, the world beneath the surface erupts in unison. The Mara River remains stirred for a long while. Then all returns to silence. The crocodile sinks back down, satisfied and unhurried. The wildebeest continue their crossing, no other path. This is the Great Migration. This is the bounty the hunter has awaited all year. It will wait another year unless someone disrupts the balance. From the moment the first light touches this savage kingdom, the king of the savanna awakens, patrolling boundaries that remain invisible to the eye. Every animal survive upon this land understands they are absolute. An ancient wisdom passed down through millions of years. A territory left unclaimed is a territory waiting to be embraced by another. The roar of a mature male lion stands as one of the most powerful resonances across the African plains, a profound declaration to the entire ecosystem. I am present, I am watching, and these borders are firm. How many years will the lead lion maintain his pride and his domain? Please share your thoughts in the comments. before we witness the final combat of the lion pride. And now, let us encounter the first ones to question that supreme authority, the eternal enemies of the lion. The hyena stands as one of the most intricately social predators in Africa, second only to the lion. Far from being the passive scavengers many imagine, these are organized hunters, guided by a strict hierarchy and a level of coordination that few species can equal. The renowned skill they have perfected through millions of years of evolution alongside the lion is not direct confrontation, but rather kleptoparasitism. Gently claiming what others have prepared. When a pride of lionesses secures a meal, the announcement has already been delivered, not through a call, but through scent, through the graceful movement of vultures in the sky, and through the signals that the entire ecosystem is constantly interpreting. And the hyena clan, long accustomed to interpreting those signs, begins to converge. Their signature calls echoing continuously, not to intimidate, but to maintain their formation, keeping a steady pressure from every direction. The lionesses resist. But a lioness cannot preserve the bounty against the entire clan. Once they have collectively decided to make it their own. But everything transforms with the arrival of the male lion. A mature male lion with a thick mane is an entirely different presence compared to the lionesses, not merely in terms of stature, but in the complete message that his presence conveys. The hyenas understand this in the most profound way. Through an evolutionary memory etched into their DNA after 1,000,000 years of coexistence. The evening meal returns to its rightful keepers. The pride continues to enjoy the rewards of the hunt. The male coalition does not exist primarily to hunt. They exist to stand between the pride and all that waits within the shadows. Anything that might challenge the stability of the pride, whether it be the hyena clan, or the nomads from the north, whom their pride will inevitably have to encounter very soon in the engagements to follow. And now, upon the plains where the lion reigns supreme, the cheetah exists in an entirely different manner, by speed, and by a very clear understanding of its own limitations. The cheetah is the most gifted hunter on the savanna, in a purely technical sense. The explosive acceleration, the ability to pivot, the precision when delivering the final embrace. All are unsurpassed. Yet, after the pursuit, the cheetah's body requires time to restore itself. And this is the moment of greatest vulnerability. During that interval, the scent of the bounty has spread far and wide, and the entire ecosystem is watching. This is not a defeat, even though from the brief perspective of a lost meal, it may appear so. This is the strategy of a species that has learned that the only engagement worth undertaking is the one that can be won. The cheetah exists within the lion's domain by never staying long enough to become a concern. It takes its fill, leaves early, and begins anew elsewhere. It is the logic of survival for one who is not strong enough to contend, but is swift enough to never truly lose. And this also means, on these plains, the cheetah's meal is never solely the cheetah's. It is always half belonging to someone else. And the cheetah has accepted this as a non-negotiable term in its contract of existence. Meanwhile, the leopard resolves the challenge of securing its bounty in the most ingenious way possible. The branches serve as the leopard's private sanctuary, safe from the hyena that cannot climb, and safe from the lion whose weight prevents efficient ascent. This is a solution validated by millions of years, and it functions in the vast majority of situations. But not all. This time, the king decides the offering must be his, and the leopard is reluctant to yield. The situation transforms into a test of endurance. In this impasse, what determines the outcome is neither strength nor swiftness, but something far simpler. Who possesses more time to wait, and who feels the deeper longing for sustenance. Finally, the leopard simply vanishes into the shadows of the trees to begin anew. No true confrontation occurs. The lion secures the meal without exertion. The leopard loses the meal without losing its existence. In this struggle for survival, that remains an acceptable conclusion. The leopard understands this. It will ascend another tree on another night, in a place where the wind whispers from a different direction. In contrast to the big cats, the wild dog pursues its bounty through endurance and near-perfect coordination. And upon the open terrain of the savanna, it is remarkably effective. Yet, efficiency only remains when the landscape is without a master. When the lion steps into the midst of the pursuit, the bounty belongs to the one who did not participate in the hunt. The rules of a protected domain grant no exceptions. For those who are merely passing through or occupied with their own quest, it requires every presence to acknowledge who holds the authority here. No loss of life occurs, but on that day, the wild dogs remain with a longing for sustenance. And that, too, is a cost that the lion's territory imposes on all others nearby, until a more formidable presence is encountered. In the savage kingdom, the lioness works to keep her heirs well away from danger. This may be one of the few genuine fears a lioness carries. A lion cub is little more than a light meal for a Nile crocodile. And when they strike, the cub's fate is sealed. But there are days when crossing the river is unavoidable. The lioness must ensure her future offspring are born robust and healthy, guaranteeing they become the ultimate predators. Across Africa, hundreds of locations serve as contested ground between lion and crocodile. But measured against the lion's vast territorial range, there's no breathing room for crocodiles. To extend the reach of their territorial claims, welcome to the Okavango Delta. This is the flood season, and the largest of the river predators are at the height of their power. This meal is a far cry from tranquil. The male lion knows what waits in the floodwaters. To successfully challenge a male lion, a Nile crocodile must measure between 3 and 4 meters in length. The delta is its domain. This is the moment the Nile crocodile has been waiting for. The male hesitates. The opposing jaw is extraordinary in its scale. But faced with the prospect of losing his kill, he must act. The young male wants to drag the carcass away, but the crocodile intends to keep what lies within its territory. The male lion possesses the strength to hesitate and withdraw. But what occurs when the one encountering the crocodile has no path for retreat? But before that, there are other courageous challenges to consider. The pack moves as a single unit. Today's mission extends beyond quenching thirst. They must cross this river. A pack of 10 is a vocal group. They have reached the stretch of river they must cross. The 2 most confident members enter first. But the channel runs deep here. The remainder must locate the shallowest crossing to avoid being overwhelmed. Successful crossing. But they are being followed. The Nile crocodile has a beneficial routine, thermoregulation. After a long night submerged in cold water, the body temperature of this ectotherm drops substantially. Solar radiation is here to warm the hunting apparatus. The predator is at complete rest. Yet the African wild dog pack perceives it as an unwelcome presence. Consequently, they stand their ground to nudge the crocodile back toward where it truly belongs. The Nile crocodile is clearly irritated, but under sustained harassment from the boisterous pack, it returns to the water. The giant will watch that presumptuous pack very closely. Meanwhile, the leopard hunts alone. In 95% of scenarios, this is a strategic advantage. The leopard is the only predator on the savanna capable of hauling a kill, sometimes exceeding its own body weight, 6 meters up an acacia tree. It operates at the boundary between day and night, occupying a temporal space no other predator controls. A 38% hunt success rate. The lowest among the large predators, the leopard compensates through patience. It has been observing this waterhole since yesterday. Young wildebeest have chosen this as their watering point, the dense vegetation scattering their scent away from predators. Or so they believe. For the wildebeest, nothing beats a spot offering both a feast and water, until the leopard strikes gold and secures its lunch. This female leopard has navigated her 7th dry season. She calls the shots across this entire territory. Still, taking a drink remains a game of chance. The Nile crocodile does not tolerate intruders in its waters. But now, the lion pride has no time for the leopard. They are facing a hidden vulnerability. The male lions of the pride can still discourage the hyena clan in the night. They can still claim the bounty from other predators. But every encounter leaves something behind. Not necessarily a visible mark, but an accumulation of 100 moments where the body must function at its absolute limit. Those elements manifest in their scent, something that the nomadic lions can interpret from a distance. And that is exactly what they seek, to determine the precise moment to initiate the great transition. Nomadic lions are encouraged to depart from their birth pride at a young age. Not due to a lack of strength, precisely because of the opposite. They have grown sufficiently for the lead male lion to perceive them as potential counterparts. Studies refer to the subsequent years of these wandering souls as the nomadic phase, the period when the continuity of life is most delicate in a male lion's journey. Wandering the fringes without a domain, without the support of a pride, without a status that guarantees sustenance or tranquility. Those who prevail and especially those who endure long enough to find companions, are the ones strong and adaptable enough to succeed the male lions of the great prides. It begins with an assessment of the opponent's condition. The frequency of marking speaks to the state of vigilance. The essence within the scent reveals the true physical state of the one who left it. Gaps in the patrol schedule tell of the pressure weighing upon the leading males. And the savanna understands this as well. Species that exist by constantly interpreting the status of the predators around them begin to adjust their behaviors subtly, maintaining a greater distance from certain territories, reallocating their time for grazing. Smaller beings within the ecosystem shift away from the areas experiencing unresolved tension. And the pride itself feels it. A fierce confrontation is inevitable. The engagement between mature male lions does not persist for long. Physiques of that magnitude cannot sustain full exertion for an extended duration. What determines the outcome is not endurance, but rather who secures the advantage in the opening moments. And that advantage belongs to the side that coordinates with greater harmony. The outcome of the struggle is clear. The roar of the victor is unlike the standard patrol call. It is longer, repeating in sequence, as if needing to speak until the entire savanna has heard it enough times to remember. A new frequency is overwriting the old, and this domain is relearning the name of its guardian. One era has reached its conclusion, and another era begins through a profound transition. In the days following the takeover, the new male lions begin to inspect each small group within the pride. The females respond immediately. A mother's instinct contains no exceptions for cases where the counterpart is larger or more formidable. What follows is the chapter that nature writes in its most dispassionate language. The smallest cubs are without opportunity. The reasoning behind this stems from a biological logic validated by millions of years of evolution. While a female is nurturing her young, her body cannot simultaneously prepare for the next generation. For the new male lion, with a tenure of unknown duration, not a single day can be squandered. Their legacy must be carried forward, not at some point in the distant future, but right now. Is this a path of existence without morality? Please share your perspective with us. For now, the days following the confrontation are quiet in a way that differs from all other days. Behavioral researchers describe this phase as a process of restructuring the social fabric. When every position, every relationship, and every priority within the pride is being rewritten from the beginning. After the force that held them all together has vanished. This territory begins to recognize the new voice of its master in the way a territory always does. Through the accumulation of 1,000 small marks replacing 1,000 others, until the scent of the past fades beneath the rain. And the essence of the new becomes the only legible truth. The roar at dawn carries a new frequency. The savanna updates its map. And then, without any clear signal, the feminine instinct is performing what it has always performed, leading toward the future, even if that future is formed from the embers of what was recently lost. Within a few weeks, the females will begin their cycles once more. The cycle that has run for millions of years on these plains begins anew, through the silent continuation of all that life knows how to do. But within the acacia thickets to the east of the domain, there remains a cub whose mother journeyed far into the night of the confrontation. Now, in the days that follow, he is beginning to venture out from the shadows of the trees. When he has grown sufficiently, and if the new male lions have established themselves firmly enough to no longer perceive him as a concern, he may be permitted to return to the pride, or perhaps he may not. But this cub is existing, and upon these plains, having moved through that night, is a sufficient answer to the questions of today. The questions of tomorrow will be addressed when tomorrow arrives. The Mara River continues to flow, as it flowed before this pride existed. As it will flow after this pride becomes a memory gradually erased by the rain upon the stones where no one visits to leave a mark. Today, those standing upon the banks are new silhouettes, a new scent, a new roar. Next year, during the dry season, everything will begin again. And somewhere on the periphery, perhaps beginning as recently as last night, other lions are listening. They are interpreting the scents. They are counting the moments. Authority is not held indefinitely, but it does not vanish. It simply passes to the next, the one who has stood long enough in the shadows and carefully interpreted the signs that the current guardian no longer notices. And who will stand here during the next dry season? At what cost? Please share your thoughts in the comments. And remember to like, subscribe to the channel, and enable notifications. Before we continue with even more profound struggles for existence, coming up next. At the Mara River, there is one entity that defies straightforward categorization. It is not the crocodile's prey. It is, in fact, an herbivore. It is something else entirely. An adult hippopotamus weighs 1,500 kilograms. Crocodiles do not attack adult hippopotamuses. There is a precise reason for this. The hippopotamus jaw contains 36-centimeter canine teeth, longer than an adult human forearm. A single bite from a hippopotamus can penetrate crocodile hide. Even if the crocodile survives the encounter, wounds inflicted by a hippopotamus typically produce severe infection. And nothing about an adult hippopotamus constitutes accessible prey. Hide 5 centimeters thick, a body of dense musculature. A nutritional return that does not correspond to the risk incurred. But the young are a different calculation. The mother hippo delivers her young beneath the surface. Tragically, its birth coincides with the migration season, when the river is at maximum density with vulnerable animals and with crocodiles, and it is more efficient to select live prey. The mother's task is absolute. If the crocodile submerges to ambush, the mother must do the same. The Nile crocodile has determined it will take advantage of available resources. And for the first 2 weeks following the calf's birth, the mother permits no crocodile within 9 meters. There is an observed characteristic of the crocodile-hippopotamus relationship that is frequently overlooked. Crocodiles and hippopotamuses occasionally occupy the same stretch of bank. This is not peace. This is the acknowledgement of a practical reality. The hippopotamus knows the crocodile will not attack it. The crocodile knows the hippopotamus will not attack it unless it violates the safety perimeter of the calf. And both understand that the river is wide enough to accommodate both. Hippopotamuses and crocodiles, a deceptive truce. Who do you imagine will be the first to deviate from this arrangement should the food sources become scarce? There is one species at the Masai Mara for which the Mara River is not a border. It is merely an obstacle. An adult African elephant weighs 6,000 kilograms. This is the combined mass of 7 Nile crocodile alpha males. And unlike the hippopotamus, the African elephant moves through the entire ecosystem, across the savanna, through the forest, through the river. The Mara River for the elephant is one step in a longer journey. The Nile crocodile in the same stretch of river registers the entire event through its pressure receptors before the elephant places a single foot in the water. And the crocodile's response is not to attack. The crocodile's response is to withdraw. Not from fear, though fear may be the accurate label. But the calf is a different ballgame. A small calf weighs 120 kilograms. This size is something a crocodile might find manageable, and this is why the herd maintains a specific formation when crossing the river. The largest females enter first. They position themselves as a barrier on the downstream side. Calves remain in the center, others form the flanks. This is tactical. But the crocodile's attention does not remain on the herd for long. Research on 7 large buffalo herds in the Masai Mara reveals 73% of hydration visits occur at the crack of dawn or 1 hour before the sun sets. Temperatures are much milder. Visibility is clear enough to see, yet the light isn't intense enough to overheat their bodies. And more significantly, these are the periods when crocodiles are most in motion, moving to the bank during the day, returning to the water in the late afternoon, which means their positions are, at these moments, predictable. When position is predictable, risk can be mitigated. The first buffalo to reach the water's edge stands motionless for 30 seconds. No response. Like every other species at this river, the buffalo needs water, to the point of accepting risks that carry a direct cost to survival. A typical African buffalo herd contains between 200 and over 1.
Together we have moved through the rawest glimpses of the brutal arena of survival beneath the waters of the Pacific. Which animal in today's episode changed the way you see the wild? 1. Was it the iron hierarchy of the clownfish, or the merciless hunting tactics of the orcas, as it brought down the giant of the sea? Leave your experience in the comments. Your understanding is itself a tribute to these wild animals. Don't forget to like and subscribe to join me on the next expeditions, where we will keep decoding the most mysterious codes of survival. And if you'd like to explore more of the wild, keep watching at Win or Die, full episode Deadliest Battles for Survival, or Lion Attack, the Mapago Battle for Survival.